Dakota, guys. Welcome back to the Dylan Ray channel. So, for the past week or so, I just want to, talk about my life, what I've been through. I said that in my first video. So, it's already starting. So, 2008, March 10th, I was born. And then, it was all good and all. I mean, my family was near me, obviously, which they were supposed to be around to, see me and what I look like. So, about 2 years gone by, it was all cool and games. I don't know if it's, July or June. It was June 4th, I think. No, June 8th. So, June 8th come, and, my mother passed on 2010. And that moment on forward, I barely even knew my mother. So, until 2014, my dad had a Ford van, junk, but it was pretty nice and all. So around August 30th or something, he wrecked the van, drinking and driving. I'm in the passenger seat up front with a seatbelt on, and he's drinking and driving. So we smacked down onto the curb, hit a ditch, and hit someone's driveway with the little creek up under it, the ditch hole, and my dad just smacked right into it. So my nanny's husband came out and got me out of the van. My dad yelling for help me, Dustin, which, why? I barely even knew what to do. And go to the hospital. Stay there for a couple of days. Black eye, and my ankle down here was messed up. So about 12 o'clock, I go to my uncle's for 2 days, get healed, tried to. And I was supposed to move to Tennessee. Anyways, I was supposed to go to Tennessee, and I go down south in Georgia, South Georgia, with my uncle and aunt and my 2 cousins. So about a year goes, I turn 7, and then I go to a foster home. Whatever it is, wanted my dad to relate back to each other or something, some other bullcrap. And then about 3, 4, 5 months goes by, I go live with them. Now it's back in 2015. A year goes by. Police showed up on the doorstep of our apartment in Georgia. And they come into the house. They put my father in handcuffs. And then they send him to jail. I go to my papa's place. It was in a unlivable condition. That was half. There's the kitchen and the living room right here. So half of the floor panels or whatever in the living room was gone, and it was unlivable condition. But I still loved all the stuff and all the fun I had 3 4-wheelers and Cub Cadet. It was a 75. It's a 1975 Cub Cadet International 128. And I had a Honda 300 EX 2000, and I had these 2 Chinese junk 4-wheelers. So about So 2007, 18, 19. So about 2 years go by. My other cousins move in right beside us. There's 2 new houses that was built right beside us of me and my granddad's. And they move in. Year goes by. COVID hit. Then another year comes in. I have a 2-stroke Honda 85. It's a 2000 model. I love it. I still have it today, but it's down in Georgia. And I had this other dirt bike. I blew it up. It was a Kawasaki. I'm sorry, it was a Suzuki. Just hit about 60 on it, and locked up the motor, and just hit a ditch and fly off of it. But I mean, I was okay because I was rolling into this field that a friend of mine owned. Well, I'm going to pause that for a second. And I want to say the stuff I've been through has not been good. It was never good. And my dad, he was always drinking, smoking pot or drugs, whatever. And he would always beat me. I would call my grandmother in the bathroom. I would lock myself in the apartment bathroom in Georgia and call my grandmother. So 2021, which is this year, May 23rd, I lived with my grandfather for 6 years, and he's like throwing car parts at me. He's a mechanic, and he also made his own grading business, and I knew how to drive his old 79 Dodge Ram Charger. It's a nice truck. He had it since the year it came out. The last road that he ever took my mother on was when she was 3. And oh crap. So anyways, 2021, this year, like I said, May 23rd, all through them years my granddad has been whipping me and throwing car parts at me. He threw a hammer at me one time and knocked me out. I mean, I never went to the hospital. I stayed knocked out for about a cold split hour. So I called my grandmother on the 23rd of May this year. So we had stuff settled out. My grandmother said, call the police department and this and that, and then she would talk to the judge. Now past that, about a day goes by, I was good. I mean fine, because all I did was just walk down there in the woods at my old place. And then May 25th hit. My granddad, he just, I don't know, he pretty much had like depression plus madness plus anger, which is madness, plus all kinds of other crazy crap. He has Alzheimer's. I mean, like, it looks like he's on drugs because he's like moving around like this, but he's not. Well, he is. He's on pot, and he always smoked it around me. So 25th hit, everything just breaks loose. Last thing it tells me is, I want you to move. So I went up to him. I said, you know what? That's fine. I'm calling Grandma again. So I called her, and I waited until 1 o'clock in the morning on May 26th. I had this old building. I have this old building that is right behind my granddad's trailer, right beside his house. So I packed up all my tools. I packed up like 2 RCs and tools, and I'm looking at them right now. So I packed up my tools and two of my RCs. I didn't get all my stuff. And grandmother pulls up at the end of the driveway, and I have my granddad's phone because I told my grandmother, Call me when you hit my road. So she calls me and said, hey, I'm on your road. Go ahead and get ready. I said, alright. So I walk over about 100 feet to my granddad's house, and I walk in there. I set the phone right beside him. I said, hey, I'm going to Tennessee. He thought I was going to go back to vacation because I used to come up here in Tennessee once a year for vacation. He said, okay, but think what you've been doing to me. And I looked down at him for a split second because I didn't even have a bed. I never did. He did neither. I mean, he was a great mechanic. He was a smart one. Way back in the day when my grandmother was with him, he made the first ever motorcycle that had the first ever radio on this planet. I mean, he was the first one. But no news came by or nothing. And I mean, he would build go-karts, dune buggies. He built him a 1955 Zuzu Jeep. It had a 2000 Zuzu diesel motor in it with five gears reverse and 5 gears for overdrive. Nice Jeep, nice 4x4. You couldn't even get that thing stuck. Well, I don't want to say that, because you could. And I mean, he could have been rich. He could have sold it. He could have been a millionaire by now. Well, past a millionaire. But he just wanted to take his own road. So he took his own road. And I'm up here. So June hits this year. And I'm up here. And I don't know. Well, yeah, June hits. I forgot what day it was on June. Around 9 o'clock. Tennessee hour, there's a nice lady. She is a police officer. My grandfather trucking man, he opens up the door and she says, where's the boy? So he thought, are they taking him? So he walks into my grandmother's room and says, hey, get up, police are here. Walks into my room, says, hey boy, get up, police here. So I walk outside, and I said, am I going to go to jail? What did I do? She said, no, you're fine. So she decided to talk what was going on, and it was my dad. I quit talking to him for like 5 years. I'm sorry, 3. And I'm like, he's coming back for me again. Because he always told me that he was going to get me back where he basically bought this piece of property, and it was right beside a quarry, and he built this ragged old barn with no windows and pretty much ragged. I mean, he's a great carpenter, but he just built this ragged old house barn. So the police left, and well, the police said that he called to get the police up here to try to get my grandmother arrested because somehow he knew I came up here. So what the police said was, I'm not saying my dad's name out. He had told me that you kidnapped him. So she left, and I'm like, you know what? I'm calling my father. I called him, and I said, why did you do this? Why did you call the police up here? And he said, well, I'm getting you back, son. I said, no, you're not. Why did you call them that my grandmother kidnapped me? Because I'm not in duct tape. I'm not even surrendered to a chair. And he says, well, this and that, I'm going to get you back. Oh, this and that, this and that. And I told him, no, you're not. At all. So, he just straight up acts like a Karen, and that he basically changes the story like, God is in your heart and this and that. I told him, I know he is. Stop changing the subject. And then I just we yelled for about, I can't believe I remember the time, 21 minutes and 58 seconds. We yelled at each other several times. And he's like, you know what? If you want to keep on acting like this, I'm just gonna give up. I said, good, you better. Cause I'm not coming down to live with you. All you want is my money, my child support. Cause my mother, 2009, she was in, basically my dad whipped my grandfather's horse in Georgia, whipped the horse on the back, and my mother flew off and broke her leg. And I forgot what else it was. So, my mother had, I think it was life support or something. I'm not going to say like how much money or nothing. I'm just getting money from my mother. Y'all probably know what I'm trying to talk about. If y'all don't, comment, and I'll tell y'all like what I'm trying to say. So he's like, oh, you know what, this and that, and he just keeps on bragging. And I'm fussing him like a dog. I'm fussing to him like a dog, y'all. I mean, just straight up. And I mean, when I was down there, he bought me nice things, but with my money. And that was not right. And that day, I freaking yelled at him like I was fixing to get someone. I yelled at him and I said, you know what? I'm talking to DFAX, and I'm talking to the judge. And I immediately hung up, blocked his number, never talked to him again. So Father's Day came this year, and I called my granddad down in Georgia, the one I moved out of. I said, hey, happy Father's Day. He said, how you doing? And I'm like, do you need to know? So I told him, I said, I'm doing good. And then I called him that day to ask if he can bring my June child support money or something. He says, no, I'm going to pay it for your mama's and your mama's and your brother's grave marker. Because I had a half brother that passed like a month. He was a month born. So I'm like turning my head to my grandmother. I'm like, what? Then she finally found, and she was saying, she knew what my grandma was saying. I yelled at him. I said, no, you're not. This is my money. You this and that. And like, if any of this happened to y'all, and you're far away like me, I'm in Tennessee right now, and then he's in Georgia. Let's say, for instance, if I'm in one of y'all's body, and this happened just like me, if they get your money and they spend it, they're going to go to jail. I mean jail. And plus, whatever they're doing, they can go to jail for a long time. But past that, he just kept on yelling, bye, yeah. And this was his only thing that he would always beat me for. I mean, just this one word. I said, you know what? Screw you. And I hear him go, like gasp. And I hung up. Never talked to him again. So that day on, I was pretty mad. I mean, I wanted to punch a hole through a wall. I mean, like a concrete wall, but I can't do that. And, I mean, this is ending. I mean, I'm glad this is going to end. But it's not ending like early. It's ending like a little late. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't have to be bothered by any of that. That's what happened to the past. And I mean, my granddad, he was always stupid up in the head. He'll bring stuff from the past and then start trouble. I mean, he's a nice man and all, but he wasn't a good person. And my great-grandfather, which is his dad, was a World War II veteran. So anyways, past that, my granddad I'm talking about now, That was my mother. That was her daughter. That was his daughter. And that's my grandmother's now. My grandmother here, daughter. Which my grandmother and my grandfather used to be together, but they had a divorce back in, I don't know what year. But I mean, I've been through some rough stuff. Hang on for a minute. Creepy crawly. Stand there. But anyways, I mean, yeah. I've been through some rough stuff. I mean, bad, rough stuff. And I just don't know why it always has to be me. Like, I would think what me and my grandfather had, like, all the good times. But I'll forget about the bad times. I would always think about the good times, even with my dad. I mean, like, there was, like, a couple of good times. But that was it. So, back in 2017, on my birthday, March 10th, my dad's father, which is my grandfather, died on the day my birthday came. And the week before he died, he had a stroke. And the last stroke was when he died on my birthday. And last year, on September the 7th, my granddad's down there in Georgia, his birthday is on September the 10th. But my uncle, he passed on September the 7th of staff. Me and my grandfather go to the funeral, and I will never forget his peace in that casket. I mean, just straight up the peace that he had. I mean, he would drink beer, and he would love going fishing. This year, on September the 7th, I'm going to a lake. I'm getting my uncle's fishing pole, and I'm casting it out for my uncle. That was my dad's father's brother. And I mean, I'm gonna say his name. His name was Wayne, but I always called him Uncle Wayne. He was a good man. I mean, my grandmother, they were friends. But until last year when he died, I had no one to go fishing with, talk to, or go mess around with. I mean, he was old. I think he was like in his 50, I think it was 58 or 9, I can't remember. But I had great times with him. I mean, that was the only person that I ever had great times with. I mean, the only person, the funniest guy too. I mean, the only thing that he would drink is beer. And that was it. And he was a great man, and he still is today. When my Nettie buried him on September the 10th, my granddad's birthday, I would never forget of him going down into that hole. And he was, I really don't even know what to say right now. I mean, I wish he was still here. But, I mean, life goes on. Remember the good days. Don't remember the bad days. Life goes on. Don't think of all the bad stuff that happened in the past. Think about what the good times were. And I don't know why I changed the subject about that, but, I mean, it's fine right now. sometime in September, I got to go down there in Georgia and get the rest of my stuff. I might be videoing, but I'm guessing I'm gonna have to blur out my grandfather's face. But I mean, I'm gonna have to go down there and get my stuff. And sometime, I don't know when, I'm going trucking again with my granddad up here. I will try to video again because last time I forgot. Try me no big a deal. I'll be posting trucking videos, like pictures of where I went. Excuse me. But so that might be it for today or tonight. So hit the like, subscribe, and I will try to video about going trucking and stuff. And to be honest, I used to go trucking a lot when I was little. I was like 4. I used to go trucking. I mean, it was fun. I would go to Idaho. Well, I don't know about Idaho. I would go to California. Pretty nice place. Wish I was there again. I mean, like I said, this is my lifetime story of what I've been through. Like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all meanwhile.